Welcome back into Main Street Living. As we head into February, we are celebrating Black History Month, remembering and honoring the contributions of African Americans to both our history and our communities today.
That's right. So why is this month such an important time for all Americans to learn about our collective history and the remarkable role that African Americans play in our country? Well, Bob and Beverly Elliott are here to share their insights. Welcome to Main Street Living. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
So the origins of Black History Month go all the way back to 1915. And many things have changed in our world since then, obviously. But the reason behind Black History Month seems to remain. So what do you feel is the purpose of Black History Month in 2022?
Well, I think some things have changed, but there's a lot that has stayed the same. Back in 1915, Dr. Carter G. Woodson, he had this historical degree as a doctor. And one of the things that he felt is that we need to learn to celebrate the lives as well as the struggles of African Americans in this community. So he decided, let's not just do my community, let's do a week. So he got some of his scholarly friends together and they decided, where is our history? We don't read it in the books. We don't see it in the newspapers. So he did a lot of research. It's still that way. In Arizona, 46% of our population is BIPOC and as well as LGBTQ. But if you look in the books, there's about 2% that are represented by those underrepresented people. So I think we still have a lot of work to do. And we still want to celebrate as well as inform people about what the struggles were, but also what were the triumphs.
You actually bring up a great point there, Beverly and Bob. I'll ask you this, why do you think it's so important to set aside this time to remember our Black history and also to look at the incredible contributions of African Americans in the communities today?
There are so many stories out there, but it doesn't seem like people know about them. Take, for example, here locally, a lady by the name of Quincy Douglas, and her son-in-law is actually on our board of directors. But Quincy Douglas, coming out of the South Park neighborhood, actually started what's known here as Vantran, being able to take vans around to help people that cannot get rides into their doctors, etc. So there's a lot of little stories around this community that need to be memorialized and put together.
And moving forward, Bob and Beverly, how would you like to see all Americans celebrating Black History Month this year? And what can we do to learn more and to get more involved?
Well, I'd love to see Americans celebrating Black History Month by buying a book by a Black author like Ruby Bridges. She wrote a book, This Is Your Time. I think those types of books, along with books like Ruby, just get into some of the authors. Try some soul food. Go out and try soul food. Have some greens, some cornbread. Purchase some music by a Black author. So if you don't like hip hop, there's R&B. You can always go back. We're from Michigan. Motown, old Motown would be great. And just also maybe even talking with a friend who's African American. Saying, we've had our neighbors come over and say, during this pandemic, do you feel like everything's okay with your health when we see this disparity going on with African Americans? So check on your friends just to make sure they're okay. I think that would be a great way for us to celebrate and to understand what's going on in the community.
Yeah, and that's absolutely true, because I do know that, like at the post office, you can request, the Black History stamps as well. But speaking of Black history now, you all are in the process of starting up a museum in Tucson, the African American Museum of Southern Arizona. Can you quickly tell us about your plans for the museum and why you think it's important?
Well, the plans for the museum actually began during the pandemic. I'm helping my grandson, who was 7 years old, as a first grader, and he says, Nanu, that's what they call me. Hey, can you help me find a famous African American to do this report on? He decides to, get on his tablet, he slides, he Googles, he finds Martin Luther King and all these wonderful people. And I work with a museum in Michigan. He said, well, you're doing a museum in Michigan. Where's our museum in Arizona?
Yeah.
I had no answer. I had no answer. And I have a friend who did some research and she said, well, it's pretty limited of what you're going to find for African Americans there. And I said, well, how about us get together? She's been mentoring me. And so we did some research and how to start a museum, along with my 7-year-old grandson and my husband and some wonderful people who have stepped up to the plate or on our board and our advisory board.
Oh my gosh, more power to you. I'm so proud of you both for everything you've done, everything that you continue to do. When is the museum slated to open and how can our viewers learn more?
Well, we're in a situation like a lot of businesses that with COVID, opening up anything that would bring people in is a little difficult. But what we would really recommend people to do is to go to our website. The website is www.aamsaz.org. If you think about AAM, African American Museum, SAZ, Southern Arizona. So if you go to www.aamsaz.org, you will see a lot of what will be there. One of the things about our museum will be, you know, there's the old traditional type where you go in, you see a lot of artifacts and there's some statement underneath it. We'll have a little of that, but we want to bring this museum into the year 2022, where you have digital experiences, you have interactive experiences.
Awesome. Wonderful.
Awesome. I think it's great. And just to piggyback on what Cheryl has said, I'm very proud to see that you guys are doing something to make an impact and also keep people informed of Black history. Thank you both for being a part of the show today.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for having us.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks to Bob and Beverly. Now, Cheryl, we got to have our guests stick around because up next, we have someone else who's been bringing laughter to audiences for over 50 years. In fact, her contribution to Black history may surprise you. So you don't want to miss it. Stay right there.